Welcome back to Hannity. We are at the Republican National Convention. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and tonight's theme was Make America Safe Again. Earlier, we spoke with Donald Trump Jr. about the first night of the RNC. Let's take a look. First of all, congratulations. I know this has been a long road for your dad. I bet you're really proud of him.
I am. I'm incredibly proud of him. And just to be a fly on the wall in this process, to watch him come in here with no political experience and just take on the professionals. And I think that's what it takes. You know, it takes someone who hasn't been caught up in the same old nonsense, who hasn't lived that lifestyle of just trying to be a politician and appease everyone. That's what my father is.
You know, it's funny. I didn't know Mike Pence that well. I had interviewed him maybe on radio 2 or 3 times, TV maybe once, but on satellite. I spent an hour with him on Friday. I was beyond impressed. I looked at his Indiana record, look at his background, very solid, very conservative. Seems to really compliment your dad.
I think he does. Listen, I think in the end, Mike's was a great choice. It was like we discussed before and last time. I mean, he was the person I knew the least in the process, and obviously we're comfortable with guys like Chris, who we've known forever, and guys like Newt. But, you know, really going back and doing my diligence and watching him, not just as a governor, which he did a great job in Indiana in terms of jobs, and, you know, just knocking down unemployment.
$2 billion surplus?
Surplus, lowering taxes every year that he's been in office. But you go back and watch him when he was in the House. You say, hey, this guy's also a fighter. He also fought for these things and took on the Democrats and so many of these ridiculous issues that they're trying to push these days. So I'm really excited to have him all.
You know what the 2 things I like the most? He was the only leader ever to speak to the Tea Party that had the guts to do it, number one. And number 2, he took on John Boehner. I wanted Boehner gone years ago and said it publicly. And so I thought that showed a lot of courage. Tonight's about making America more safe and secure, making America safe again, in light of police assassinations, in light of one terror attack after another. It seems that your father was way ahead of the curve, especially on securing the border and having the courage to say, if you grow up in a civilization that practices Sharia, we've got to be able to vet you in a way that we know that you're not wanting to bring that ideology here.
Of course. Listen, my father was saying it from day one. I mean, I think he was the law and order candidate before anyone was even talking about law and order. When you look at the world, when you look at the place that we're at, whether it's at home or abroad, it's a really scary notion, and sort of these enabling policies of the other side where we would rather apologize to them so we don't hurt their feelings rather than taking care of our own children and their well-being and our families. Well, Sean, it's crazy. I can't even understand it as an American, and I'm pretty good. I can usually put the shoe on the other foot and make an argument. I can't even come up with a logical concept for this thing. It's crazy.
You know, I don't understand how in the interim between the Dallas killings and the Baton Rouge killings, in the interim, Black Lives Matter, which chanted, what do we want, dead cops, when do we want them now, they were invited to the Obama White House. Hillary is seeking out their counsel on issues involving criminal justice.
I mean, it's really sad. I mean, you know, when Prince dies, he was a great artist. They light up the White House purple. When every other movement happens, you know, the White House is never blue. They don't do anything for these guys. The cops keep us safe. They're going into work day in, day out. Sure, do mistakes happen? Yeah, there's 1.5 million cops approximately in this country. Something's going to happen. You know, I'm not saying that's right. But we have to back these guys because the overwhelming majority, Sean, are awesome people that put their lives at stake every day to make sure guys like you, guys like me, guys like everyone in this room, guys all over the country, ladies, are safe. More than 99%, Sean. It's basically 100%. Mine is some criminals. You know, and we can't go around because of a couple bad apples or a couple bad instances that could just be bad luck for all we know, and use that as a way to empower every criminal and make them think they're all of a sudden there's some sort of vigilante. That doesn't work.
How do you justify a president meeting with a group, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon? How do you justify not saying radical Islamic terrorism?
I can't. I can't. It's asinine to me. It makes 0 sense. But it's this typical, you know, left-wing pandering. They try to appease everyone. You know, they're going to appease the terrorists to death. That's what they're going to do. And that's not what the terrorist understands. The terrorist only understands force. We're basically enabling these guys to act because they know we're weak. Weak leaders in position of power don't usually work.
You know, I got to know you and your brother and your sister and Jared, your sister's husband. You're all it's a very close-knit family. Tiffany, you guys are really close. You've all played a big part in the campaign. How has this changed your life, and can you believe that your dad is possibly going to be the next president of the United States? These are the words you want to hear. Fox News projects.
Exactly. Well, listen, I've learned a long time ago never to bet against my father. I mean, he understands these things. He's got an innate ability. When he puts his mind onto something, it's total focus, and he just does it. So I've learned never to bet against him. But to see the movement that he's created, and it's not a campaign anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. I've said this to you the first time I was on your show, right? I've done it a lot since then. But, you know, it's not a campaign. It's a movement. The people who built this country, the people who made this country great, the hard-working Americans who've been left in the dust in favor of these activist groups, half of them are criminals. We would rather be nice to criminals than the people who support this country and make it great.
Yeah.
He keyed into that.
So many people know that I've interviewed you and your family and your dad. And they're always asking about the kids because they're so impressed by you. And I'm not sucking up to you, but they're impressed by the family. You're playing a role. You're giving a big speech here. Eric's giving a big speech. Ivanka will be introducing your father.
Yeah.
Tiffany's going to be giving a speech. We had Melania on tonight. How close is this family?
Listen, we're very close. That was the way we were brought up. We were always a very tight-knit family. My siblings and I have just incredible relationships. We're lucky, right? Family business, it usually works one of two ways. It's binary.
Yeah.
It's either awesome or a total disaster. You never hear about, hey, it's okay. It's one way or the other. I mean, we're very lucky that it works incredibly well. We work next to each other every day, and when we vacation, we still choose to vacation together. So we were very lucky, and that was the way our parents raised us. I mean, we're first. We got to take care of ourselves, and we got to take care of our country.
I can't.
No different.
I agree. Listen, Don Jr., good to see you. I know it's a big week for your family. Congratulations. Thank you.
See, if I blow it tomorrow, you can make fun of me the next time I'm on the air. It's only a couple million people watching. It's not, you have good ratings.
It's probably going to be about 50 or 60 million, but don't worry, no pressure.
No pressure. What the hell? It's just pressure.
All right, man. Good to see you. Thank you.
Sean.